Imprisoned by my own job? Or is it just fear? Random conversations as I sat on a plastic white chair with a bottle of Stony soda and 4 sticks of well-roasted pork placed on one of those wooden pallets in the upper bar section of Kaidondo rugby grounds when someone approached me to ask whether the seat next to me was occupied. I wore an unhappy face after a friend of mine had canceled on me at the very last minute without any prior warning whatsoever. I detest the lack of effective communication in anyone, for the simple reason that he was wearing a vintage 02 Arsenal jersey from the 2005/2006 season. We quickly struck conversation. With him, he had a bottle of Nile Special and some ribs on his plate. I remember jokingly thanking him for supporting the Nile Special Rugby League in reference to his choice of drink. We ate and drank as we watched Aston Villa dismiss Manchester United in a 3-1 drubbing. When all the football talk was done, somehow, with our plates now empty, just after he had ordered for what was his 3rd bottle of beer, our conversation morphed to life in general, wondering whether he was here just by himself for a special treat. He noted that the lady he was supposed to meet and talk was running more than hours late after a heavy downpour in Gaba. "So you're supposed to be on a date?" I asked. "Not really. Not as such," he said before giving me the full story. Feeling imprisoned by her own job, a woman he was in a situationship with had told him, "Please don't leave me. You're the only good thing I have going for me right now." In the moment, he felt a little manipulated, held at ransom, and cornered at the same time, seeing it only as a tactic to make him stay longer than he had anticipated it to be. Bear in mind, no one ever plans on how long a situationship will last. You simply have a good time and enjoy it while it lasts. But he also understood where she was coming from. Working a job she had hated for a while for more reasons than the 10 Commandments, some of which that included over-delayed salary payments, arrears accumulated over time, working with uncooperative people, and having a daily work load piled on you for the simple reason that the person who is doing it quit and no replacement has been brought. And without any formal conversation with management, you have to fill that void just to keep clients happy and business going. As if that's not enough, her attempts of finding a new job had been futile to say the least for a period spanning over a year. More than a couple of interviews done, falling short on some and passing some, but not followed up with that final call that brings the deal home. All that coupled with the general frustrations of life, including but not limited to routine bills that have to be paid, expectations to live up to, unwritten responsibilities to fulfill, and a personal desire to make progress, to climb one's ladder at a certain pace that may not be very satisfying, but at the very least acceptable. On the back of it all, feeling imprisoned by the fear of quitting and starting from scratch, the fear that if you quit, the small stipends and untimely pays that you get every once in a while to help clear some outstanding bills will all vanish in thin air, was just humbling, stressful, and depressing to say the least. Wondering whether your failure to quit totally is the universe's way of denying you the opportunity of getting a new job, that somehow your luck seems to be failing based on the simple fact that you haven't yet quit, but also pondering deeply, mostly in wonder whether this is just another test to your personal resilience, the never-give-up attitude in your chain of growth and maturity. Does quitting equate to giving up at this stage? You just keep wondering, questioning everything without any answers. At the same time, you want to work your fingers off and feet tired, do all the side gigs, if they're coming anyway, usually they don't at that time, hoping to save up enough money for a safety net that can cover you for at least 3 to 6 months when you decide to finally quit and nothing good comes along in the short run, wanting just enough to cover rent, your power and water bills. You pray so hard to God asking for a sign, some form of direction or reaffirmation that by staying you're doing the right thing and there are better days to come. And on the other hand, asking him to give you his blessing to quit totally with the hope and faith that once you close that door, he's going to open another for you almost instantly, or at least take the wheel in the interim just to maintain normalcy, as if he isn't in charge already. As if that's not enough, in instances, despite all your work experience, you start to question your personal capabilities, marvel at whether you even have the qualities and skills it takes to cut it at a new dream job if you land one with a preferred organization. The desire for new work and the fear of starting it, to rub shoulders in the circles you dream of both become screwy in equal measure. It's a moment of psychological self-doubt. It's all heartbreaking and tear-dropping if you haven't built the mental fortitude to sustain these kinds of thoughts and life pressures. I think this is what is referred to as being in the fear zone in one of her vlogs. While we talked and shared different experiences, it all sounded too familiar in my ears. And as a word of advice, I asked him to stand by her in the meantime, knowing how hard a place it could be for one mentally. It wasn't until I stood up to leave that we finally got to learn each other's name. "I'm Isaac," he said. "Hi, everyone. This is Robert K. Circles. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a comment letting us know what you thought. We love hearing your feedback. And if you know someone who might enjoy the show, please share it with them. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more listeners. Thanks again for being a part of the Robert K. Circles community. Until next time,